Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are around this beautiful planet of ours. And in case you're wondering, weather is absolutely amazing here on the Gold Coast. Water is beautiful, surf is looking good, sun is out. Today, let's get into all of the big news headlines and follow up on what the macro cycles are doing. Are we starting to see some key signals that the low is in? You know, we've talked about this on the channel for some time. There is two major different headspaces going on out here in the markets. A lot of people are saying that we have further to fall, but they're also thinking that we're coming to the end of this. And we have the flip side. Maybe that's like myself and a few others saying that we're probably seeing the low in. I'm not saying it is in, but we're probably seeing it. And that is what I want to go through in today's video, looking at some key signals coming up today and over the next 3 days. So we've got 3 days to go here. And in which case, should we begin to see these signals in this week and this month of November, you can almost kiss that 10K goodbye. I would say that a lot of people will start to miss their opportunity. Let's at least get into today's analysis after that CPI data has come out. If you haven't already, make sure you smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon so you get updated with this, so you see more of it and less of all of the other noise and stuff going on out there. Thanks again for all of your support. I'm going to miss the bear market if we get out of this over the coming 6 to 12 months, because you guys that are here dropping your comments and sticking around for the live streams like we had yesterday, it is just so much more refreshing now compared to the bull markets. The bull markets, there's everyone going crazy and people just trying to shoot their shots left, right, and center. Now I feel like we are far more focused on the task ahead, and that is just remaining with the market for patience and waiting for the signals. With that in mind, let's take a look at the signals that came out yesterday. All of the headlines now are Wall Street's up. We got bigger gains on the NASDAQ. And yes, the US dollar has fallen and broken past key levels. This is what we've been talking about since the peak in September, looking at key signals yet again as to why that could be the case. And I've shared that with you here on the channel. So I do hope that you are smashing up the likes and subscribing on the channel. This isn't just some fluff put together. It is key stuff that is going on out there. And I share my reasons why I see it happening. So the headlines, again, new stuff going on. Inflation isn't as high as what people had expected. We can see that we're down now for the 4th straight month with the CPI data here. Going over to Forex Factory, which is really interesting to use because we can see what the market was expecting. So a forecast, you look at this column here in the middle and what it actually came out at. And so if it's red, it means it was below the expectation, which is what set the market off for this particular day. But we were talking about it on the 13th of October. So nearly 1 month ago, we were looking at this as being a potential cycle low. And if you missed it, I strongly encourage you to go back and check out these videos after this. I'm going to leave them at the end up on the left-hand side that you can see it as to how we got to that. So if you can understand it and learn from it, life becomes so much easier. You're able to sit back and relax with your investments and not get caught up in all of those ridiculous news headlines and channels that are just trying to scam you for clicks. We actually got some good stuff here. All right. So the forecast came in, it was higher. You know, we have to start to expect these things with our analysis going back to October. As I said here just a few days ago around our seasonal dates of November, our GAN seasonal dates, don't worry if you don't understand those. We're just looking for key timing aspects of the market. Here is the low, here is the top, 50%. Market bounced off 50%. And as it bounced, I wasn't sure that this would be a solid bounce and moves higher. Now, this is starting to come to a nice extreme level. You know, we're getting a pretty sharp move out. And generally what happens after sharp moves is we do get some corrections. But the safety, the slight safety here for at least for 1 day's close is that we're now above 3,900 points. We've taken out that previous high. Now, this is a good start. We need to see it happen again tonight to end the week, a nice close above that, which means the weekly will close strong. And that then leads us into the next week to hopefully start the week off fresh as well. Because yes, 1 day's close is great, but we do need to see more consolidation above that level. We know we've tested that level, we're broken above it, 3,900. It's a key 50% level. You can see previous support, resistance in September, more resistance in late October and early November. And we're finally starting to attempt to get back above that price right there. We've got the target here for the S&P. Now, I'm talking mostly about the S&P because this is what is driving the market so far, and also the US dollar, and that obviously flows into cryptocurrencies, which is more of your riskier assets out there, if we can call them that, assets that is, but definitely high risk. The target here is around mid-December. We need to overbalance. We need to push up more than this previous move here. So this is from the June low to the August top. If we can get there, it's going to be above 4,200 points. And provided we stay above there after the mid-December, this is a great bullish signal for the market, even if the market then starts to decline, has some profit taking, and moves down again. This is a really, really good signal, and hopefully we can do it and get above the bear market downtrend. So that would break a few of the bears, break a few of their backs, and we would then start to consolidate into a more of a bullish pattern, even if the market does come back down to test some of these lower prices at 3,800, 3,900 points. So far, so good. Early days, we need a strong close at the end of this week, and we also need to continue to see a strong November, which fortunately we're on that track at the moment. Halfway through, let's continue on with this for November and going towards this target. So keep that number in mind. There's going to be a key level to decipher between the perma bears who are just hoping for lower prices because of what's going on out in the world, and what the investors are actually doing, what the people who are buying in the markets are actually doing. It's on this chart. All the information is right on this chart that tells you the answers, not what all of the noise is out there. It's really crazy that you can get that much information from the chart, because essentially this is where people are buying and selling. It's showing you that. So the Dow as well is up really strong. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average is your top 30s. We got the lows in September, October. This is pushed up stronger. So we got a bigger push out of this low and above 50%. So it's a good one to follow. It's above those highs there of the pre-pandemic peak. So that's the February peak, and we dropped into the pandemic in March. So it's found some support there and then bounced away quite quickly, which is a really good sign as well. As for tech, I've been saying this for a long time now. Tech is far, far, far weaker. Your Teslas, your whatever else, Apple's, Google's, Facebook's more so. That stuff is probably going to see some more pain unless it can break above the more macro resistance levels here on the NASDAQ. So tech is weaker. I've said that all along. And also what is weaker is the US dollar. We finally got that breakdown of that critical level here. So we're looking at 109.5. We got the breakdown just over the last 24 hours. Quite a significant bar. It attempted to bounce twice, but is now broken past that level. So where does that leave us right now? Well, let's take it out just a little bit further. We're sitting on a 108, but of course, we've got a little low here. This one isn't as significant that I'm looking for. I'm looking a little bit further down the chart now. So we're looking at the next swing low here on the monthly, around that 104.5. So 104.5, 105, that is the monthly swing bottom, only just, but you can see a monthly swing bottom here in August. I don't think the market is going, the US dollar is going to give it up that easily. Maybe we'll get a bounce here and we'll start to trend around for weeks to months. I said this will take some time. We did talk about the peak being in September, a significant peak. We have to wait for confirmation for that top, the actual top to come in, but we were talking about it as all of the extreme news came in around 26th of September. I was talking about this on the channel, getting called all sorts of things, saying that it's way too early. And I said, yes, it is possible, but take a look at the signals out there. Everyone's going crazy as if the US dollar's about to collapse the world. We had all of this stuff, collapsing the Great British Pound, the euro. Your currency is next. It's going to come down. The world is sinking. Everything's going to the US dollar. But what's happened since there? Euro has bounced away, not as strong as the pound. The pound's now at 117. It got all the way down to about 103 and is now at 117. This is a long way to climb. Don't get me wrong. And over the years, maybe we continue to come back down. But just looking at that in terms of a topping signal, a topping pattern, so far this is working out. And I look at this as probably over the next few months, it's going to take some time to start to break down. Once we get to around 102, I don't think it's going to give up 102 too easily. There's quite a lot of support here. And so the market will maybe find some sort of support and bounce around those levels. But for now, everything is looking to the downside. These moves have gotten shorter, and should we sort of find ourselves ranging between 105 and 115, so be it. I wouldn't be getting too excited about anything until we start to see closes, monthly closes above 112.5 and 115. That's where I would say, look, we're probably going to try and test the 118s from the US dollar. Now, all of this leads into, surprise, surprise, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin futures market is the first one here. I hope you enjoyed my title around something around 10K buyers had their chance at lows. We haven't confirmed that just yet, but I would say that there was a pretty reasonable chance that we won't see the 10K like I've talked about for quite a while. On the futures market, you got a nice number here of 14,900. On the spot market for the cycle low thus far, it is at around 15,500, depending on which exchange you're on. So 3 days to go. What does that mean? Well, we're looking for closes above the previous support levels that we were just broken down from. So if we get closes above those previous support levels, say for the futures market here, we've got 24 hours to go. If we get above around 18,500 or 600, that is going to be a very strong sign that this was just a shakeout, a big wash. And we will, over the weeks, over the course of November, maybe attempt to recover a few more of those losses and head back towards 20. Doesn't mean we can't close up above that 18.5, come back down, put in a higher low over the weeks. This will take time. In that case, that's a strong sign that we'll probably come back up and test some higher prices. The weaker side is if we were to get closes underneath these levels and then start to come back down to put in a lower top underneath the previous support level. So that's the previous support right there. So we've got two major things coming up. That's why I'm very strong about watching these next 3 days for this weekly close, because that is going to be a big signal here, especially for the futures, as we had a nice bounce back here on Bitcoin. Need to get that close above 18.5. As for the spot market, things are looking okay. About a minute to go for the daily here. You can see the battle that is going on with the previous cycle low at 17,500-ish. So that was the day on the 18th here for the index. That low, yes, 17,585. Look at how close we are getting now towards the close. Ideally, we want to see this close, and it's within the next 40 seconds. You guys will have seen this by now as I'm filming it and then getting it uploaded to you. A close above here is good. We're right on that dollar now, so it's not the worst case. If we all of a sudden in 30 seconds we dump further, this is going to be much, much weaker for Bitcoin. But ideally, by the end of the week, we want to see a close above 17,600. That's going to be a good start. And a close above 18,600 is going to be an excellent start for the following week, because that is just going to wipe out all of the previous losses. And it'll show that this was basically a washout of weak hands and then consolidating above those higher levels. Of course, the weakest thing to happen by the end of the week is a lower close, and then the following weeks we start to form tops and closes beneath this level right here, beneath that 17.5. And we've just had the daily close right now, basically just a few bucks short of that previous low in June. All right, so we're right on the money right now. The market is battling that previous low price to see whether we get support or resistance form at that price. So this is going to be critical over the next 3 days. The good signs, at least, is we've kind of had a bounce on the bear market downtrend. So we broke out of the bear market downtrend. What's happened in the past? The market comes back to try and test around that level. Should we continue down during November? Well, then we got prices as far down as about 13.5, which lines up relatively well with the previous old cycle tops of the period in 2019. So when we took off to that big move, that is a pretty key level there. And then we also had the support, or the resistance at around the $12,000 level. So that is all still within play. We've got big volume coming on. End of the week, 3 days to go. Let's look at the weekly chart. That is going to be the key levels to be following on your charts to see whether we get some early signs of strength returning to the market, and this particular drop just being a washout of the weak hands. So you can see that we are really trying to battle those levels right now on the weekly chart. Ethereum, on the other hand, is pushing back real strong. It closed pretty high. It closed at $1,295. It was above this entire consolidation zone before, that one little weak pump out, dump, and a close above. Not out of trouble just yet, but at least we're starting to put in some lows higher to what June was. If we started to get a break above the bear market downtrend, really, really good signs. And if we wash out this entire dump over those last 2 days of the 8th and the 9th, things are looking pretty positive for ETH. So far, so good. It's slightly stronger here that it's closed back into this zone that it consolidated in. And then again, 3 days to go, or two. We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days to go till the end of the week. Same sort of deal here. We need to see ETH close back above $1,300. So a couple of nice round numbers to follow here. Closes above 1,300 for ETH, closes above 17.5. Even better would be 18.5. Call it 18,600 would be absolutely amazing for Bitcoin. And the old 10K guys are probably going to start crapping the bed again, because that was the opportunity there around that 15.5K at the absolute low of the market. Going on to cryptocurrencies, because the talk happens again, at great big lows. Why aren't we getting onto cryptocurrencies now? I keep referring you back to the video I did a few days ago here on Monday. Crypto DCA is a huge lie. If you want to save your money and not get screwed in the market, I would wait for macro signals. I just want to take profits out of these markets. These are not the be all and end all. They're not the Amazons. They are just more BS hopes and dreams that have been shattered over the last bull market. Take it off log. You can see just how bad that actually is to Solana. I'm not saying anything about the project. It can come back and do their thing, but tech takes time. Tech takes a very long time. Use the NASDAQ as an example here. If you go back onto the monthly, you have the .com boom, the bust. Even during the rise up to the global financial crisis peak, well, the peak just before the GFC, which was here in 2007, the peak in 2007, the market didn't really move anywhere near as much as that first period. But during this period, the move from 2002, 2003 and 2002, the low to the peak, this was building, this was development, this was stuff actually getting done in tech. So the fundamentals were lining up, things actually getting built. This is hopes and dreams. This is what we can promise you. So if you look at this on log, this is what we can promise you through this period. We're promising you all this crap. You've seen it and heard it. You've heard the influencers talk about metaverse and gaming. You know the ones I'm talking about. Giving you the hopes and the dreams, pump it up. Then you have to pop the bubble, pop all the hopes and the dreams, and the ones who survive will continue building through this period when there aren't that many gains to be had. The money coming into the space is not going to be as hard for the development. Not talking about the speculation, but for the development, and in this case, for the speculation as well. So going back, that was the peak of the 2007 top for the NASDAQ, but the S&P reached back to the previous top of the .com bust as well. So there's the top there for the S&P. It reached back to that peak. So that's what I'm expecting to happen this time round for the macro markets. The NASDAQ, maybe it's not going to reach anywhere near those peaks again, but it's going to have strong fundamentals. I'll keep saying that till the cows come home. There's going to be some strong fundamental stuff. People are going to be building and growing and clearing out stuff like Facebook or Meta has just done with clearing out 11,000 employees. They have to rebuild after being in such a fat situation, a fat bubble. Then you have the next collapse, which is what we're anticipating after 2026. And then we go on the next massive run where tech takes over again, takes massive, massive gains. Cycles will continue to repeat. That's why I come back to Solana and say, this is probably the big hopes and the dreams. They need to fucking get to work, do something that doesn't keep collapsing all the time. You know how Solana's gone down so much. There's a whole lot of crap to unravel. Get the development going on, then possibly 1 or 2 cycles from now for cryptos, this thing might have another big boom if it survives. Speaking of surviving, total cryptocurrency market cap is surviving so far. We've had a slightly lower low. I'd say that the market was sitting at around that 160 billion yesterday, minus the stable coins, which is really important to have a look at here, which is basically putting it into the zone that we've been waiting for here, going back, looking at support and resistance for the altcoin market. So it's almost there. It's going to take a lot longer because we can have pumps and dumps. It's going to be a beautiful trading time for crypto traders. Okay, so through this period here, there's about 15 bars, which are months, so 15 candles, a year and a half. Probably going to have some nice pumps and dumps, but there's still going to be opportunity to get into the markets for the next major altcoin season, which is probably quite some time away. But the trading is going to be fantastic. And in which case, I'm just going to plug TIA Premium. Link is in the top of the video description. We've got crypto trading for beginners over there. You can learn how to trade these markets using the TA that I've got here on the chart, Gann analysis, Wyckoff analysis. So check that out, top of the video description, and also sign up for our newsletter down below as well. All right, guys, that has been a massive wrap on the markets. Things are looking relatively well. I'm just going to go through these last things. My view has not changed since January 2022. The US dollar top is probably in. SPX, the S&P 500, bottom is probably in. Bitcoin probably rounding a bottom. These are all probabilities because we don't have the confirmation yet. Crypto may have further to go, and the time cycles are still on track. Stay tuned to the time cycles. These things are epic. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Go watch the videos that are popping up right now on your left-hand side. I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a fantastic day with the sun out right now. Until then, peace out.